I'm here in the attic of the old house. One of my desires was to be able to convert the attic into living space, because it's a decent sized attic and it's got plenty of height. Even with the 12-12 pitch and the sloping rafters, as long as the height for 50% of the width is, I think 80 inches, 84 inches, then you can use it as living space. The issue was the spacing of the rafter ties. It's 24 inches on center, and they are not all that deep. So there are two things that I needed to consider: is the depth of the rafter ties and the span. Is it strong enough to make this a living space? And originally it was not, because while you think that the rafter tie has some decent depth there, it's a 2 by 7-ish there, because it's 133 years old. But that full height of that rafter tie is not sitting on the top plate. It is notched, so I don't have the I don't have the full height. You can sort of see over here that the end of the rafter is notched to sit on the plate. So what I'm planning to do is, because not only do I want this to be potential living space in the future, but I also need to insulate the ceiling plane everywhere. Now this section here had the blown-in cellulose, which I have bagged up over there, and it's clean and no critters or vermin or anything in it, so I may reuse that. But since I'm going to need to do the entire ceiling plane or attic floor underneath the attic floor, I need to get as much insulation into that as possible, because more insulation is better, so to speak. And what I've got here for height doesn't allow me enough thickness of the cellulose information or insulation to get me to where I want to be as far as the R value. I'm looking for an R value, in the 40s, and so what I needed to do, if to kill two birds with one stone, is actually make these rafter ties bigger. So what I'm planning to do is rip up the floorboards, and there's a special tool that makes that quick work. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 2 by 10, which is this dimension here, and I'm going to rest the end of it on the plate. I'm trying to get to a place where I can sort of illustrate this a little bit better, and I think I can do so over here, I think. So there's the plate, and if I don't fall through, what I plan to do is to put this 2 by 10 and rest it on the plate, like so. And then that will be sistered to the existing rafter tie, and what that does, it gives me an additional 4 inches of height. So that gives me almost, well, it will give me almost 12 inches of space for the blown-in cellulose in insulation. And because I'm using the 2 by 10, its full height, putting it on the plate, which is sufficient bearing, and sistering it to the old joist, that will now give me less deflection in the floor, so that I can use this as living space. So that's going to be a chore, but that will need to be done. Even if I didn't make this living space, I would want to increase the insulation capacity, so I'd probably rip up the floors anyway. But what I'm going to do is do this section first, rip up the floor, sister in the 2 by 10s, and put the flooring back. And where I'm missing some flooring, or if I don't have enough of the leftover flooring here, I'll just use the Advantech subfloor material, which will be fine. So I think that will work okay. The only issue I have is over here at the stairs. So what I'll have to do is, these stairs are pretty steep, and they come up near the middle of this section, so that when you step onto the floor, you have enough headroom. If I rebuilt the stairs and made them a more comfortable pitch, then the stair would end here, and when you came into the space, you'd probably clobber your head on the rafters here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the stairs as they are, and then what I'll do is I will sister all of these rafter ties here up to this one. And so this one will be like another step up. So once you hit the landing, so to speak, here, after coming up the stairs, you would you'd have one more step up to the main area. So I'll sacrifice a little bit of the floor, I'll sacrifice a little bit of the insulation capability in order to gain all of this usable space and 12 inches of space for blown-in cellulose insulation. So once this space is set up that way, then I can, at my leisure, expand into this space and then deal with the insulation of the roof at a future time. But as I say, this attic has plenty of room. This would make a nice large bedroom. And this one space over here would make a smaller bedroom. There'll be a bathroom, and here's the opening for the chase. And you can see the waste stack is not in here, but it goes through the rafter bay space there, and then turns up there, and then goes out the building there. So again, a nice large bedroom there on the front of the house, a smaller bedroom here on the back of the house, a bathroom in the chimney area, and then this front part could be a little sitting area. But that's in the future. The immediate concern is to rip up the floorboards, and I've got a special tool on order to facilitate that. That's supposed to be here Monday, and then there are some folks in the area who might be interested in doing a little work for me, and then I'll be able to have the height necessary for the insulation needed to give me the R value that I want. So that's what's going to happen too sometime this summer, and hopefully that'll give me the decent insulation for keeping the place warm enough in the winter time. And it'll also, at least I'll be able to use this for storage in the short term, because the floor will be strong enough to support live and dead loads. So that's it from the attic. We'll do another video sometime in the not too distant future.